Jack was an intelligent but lazy teenager who believed that life would sort itself out without much effort on his part. He frequently found himself trapped in a cycle of procrastination, pushing aside important tasks in favor of fleeting pleasures. School assignments went unfinished until the last minute, and his dreams remained just that, dreams, with no real effort to turn them into reality. His parents worried about his lack of discipline, but their words of concern bounced off him like raindrops on stone. Teachers warned him, yet he ignored their advice. Friends encouraged him, but he laughed it off, confident that he had all the time in the world. One day, Jack's history professor, Mr. Harrison, noticed his pattern of procrastination. Having seen countless students waste their potential, Mr. Harrison wasn't about to let Jack follow the same path. After another missed deadline, Mr. Harrison called Jack into his office. The teenager sauntered in, wearing his usual carefree grin. "Jack, do you know the story of the bamboo tree?" Mr. Harrison asked. Jack furrowed his brows. "No, sir, but I guess you are going to tell me." Mr. Harrison chuckled and leaned forward. "The Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years before it even breaks through the soil. For 5 long years, it appears as if nothing is happening. But during that time, it's growing a deep root system underground. Then, in the 5th year, it suddenly shoots up nearly 90 feet in just 6 weeks." Jack crossed his arms. "What does that have to do with me?" "Everything," Mr. Harrison replied. "Success isn't about instant gratification. It's about planting the seeds of effort, discipline, and perseverance long before you see the results. Right now, you're ignoring your roots and wasting time. And the thing about time is that you never get it back." Jack shifted uncomfortably in his chair. No one had spoken to him like this before. Most teachers just scolded him, but Mr. Harrison was different. He was challenging him to think. "So what should I do?" Jack asked, his voice quieter now. "Start small," Mr. Harrison advised. "Discipline isn't built overnight. Commit to finishing one task at a time, without delays, without excuses. Build that foundation, and one day, when you least expect it, you will see the results." Jack left the office deep in thought. He had heard lectures on discipline before, but something about Mr. Harrison's words resonated with him. That night, for the first time in a long while, he made a plan. He would finish his homework before playing video games, wake up earlier, and set small goals to achieve. The first few weeks were hard. The temptation to procrastinate still loomed over him, but each time he felt himself slipping, he remembered the bamboo tree. He reminded himself that growth was happening, even if he couldn't see it yet. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Jack's grades improved, but more importantly, his mindset changed. He found joy in productivity and pride in completing tasks on time. He realized that the effort he once avoided was actually the key to the future he wanted. One evening, Jack sat with his younger brother Ryan, who was struggling with his studies. Seeing Ryan's frustration, Jack smiled and said, "Do you know the story of the bamboo tree?" Ryan shook his head, confused. Jack leaned forward, just as Mr. Harrison had done for him. "Sometimes, it feels like nothing is happening, as if all your hard work isn't making a difference. But just like the bamboo tree, growth is happening underground. One day, when you least expect it, you will shoot up." Ryan listened intently, nodding slowly. Jack realized in that moment that he had come full circle. He was no longer just a student, he was now a mentor, passing on the wisdom that had changed his own life. A year later, Jack stood in front of his classmates, giving a speech on time management. He spoke about the boy he used to be, the boy who wasted time, who made excuses, who thought success would come effortlessly. He also spoke about the professor whose simple story changed his life. As he finished his speech, he noticed Mr. Harrison standing at the back of the auditorium, smiling proudly. Jack knew then that he had not only changed his own life, but was now in a position to inspire others. Because of one conversation, one challenge, and one shift in mindset, Jack transformed from a boy who procrastinated into a young man who took charge of his future. And like the bamboo tree, he was finally growing tall. As the applause echoed through the auditorium, Jack felt a deep sense of fulfillment. It wasn't just about the grades he had improved or the habits he had built. It was about the person he had become. He had learned that discipline wasn't a form of punishment, it was a pathway to freedom. The freedom to control his future, the freedom to chase his dreams without the fear of failure, and the freedom to inspire others to do the same. After the event, Mr. Harrison approached him and placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "You have done well, Jack. But remember, growth never stops. Keep nurturing your roots, keep striving, and keep learning." Jack nodded, understanding the depth of the moment. The road ahead was long, but he was no longer afraid. He had learned that success comes from consistent effort, discipline, and the courage to persevere even when results aren't immediate. As he left the auditorium with the sunset behind him, Jack smiled. The old Jack would have let this moment pass, but the new Jack was ready to face every challenge, knowing today's efforts would lead to extraordinary outcomes. Step by step, day by day, Jack continued to grow in success, wisdom, patience, and purpose. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.